lesson is called Beliefs, Fact or Fiction. If you're the director of a scary movie and you want to have your audience feel scared, what do you have to get the audience to believe? They have to believe watching on the screen is real. You need to get the audience to believe that what is false is actually true. For example, a monster is not really attacking the city, but we can make it look like it's true. As human beings, we sometimes have difficulty distinguishing between fact and belief. Let's define these words. A fact is something that is true for all people. A belief is a thought, idea, or opinion that you think or feel is true. Look at the first two statements under fact or belief on your handout. An F on the line for each statement you think is a fact, and a B for each statement you think is a belief. Pause the video and complete this task. Let's do it. Number 1 is a fact. It is true that water freezes at 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Number 2 is a belief. Crazy as it may seem, other people like to go camping when it's below 32 degrees outside. Number 3 is a belief. Number 4 is a fact. Denver is truly the capital of Colorado. As amazing it might sound, many people have difficulty determining if something is a fact or a belief. This is something top 20s are very good at. They know that their beliefs have a huge impact on how they see, and that makes a big difference in what they get out of life. The objectives for this activity are to distinguish between facts and belief, to realize the impact of beliefs and convictions in our lives, to understand and apply the ease up technique. The power of beliefs. There are 2 laws regarding beliefs that are important for you to know. These are on your handout. The first is the law of beliefs that states that whatever we believe is true and real for us. In other words, what you believe is true becomes your reality. The second is the law of conviction. This law states that the more we believe something to be true, the more real it is for us. Our level of conviction is important as it determines how real our beliefs feel to us. This in turn determines the impact that our beliefs actually have on our lives. Look at the 2 examples that are given on your handout. I'm a good gymnast, and I'm a poor math student. Which number on the conviction scale measures the strength of these beliefs for you? If you felt strongly about being a good gymnast or a poor math student, you'd circle a 7, 8, 9, or 10. If your feeling was weaker, you would circle a 1, 2, 3, or 4. We'll come back to the conviction scale later. False beliefs block potential. All of our beliefs are powerful because they influence us to act in certain ways. Top 20s know the power of their beliefs. They especially know how false beliefs can block their potential. They know that false beliefs can hold us back and keep us stuck in places we would rather not be. Based on beliefs, we can act in ways that are not in our best interest. Top 20s know that false beliefs can keep us from seeing the truth because we are convinced that the false belief is the truth. They also know that when beliefs are based in truth, they help us get to a better place, develop ourselves, or develop our relationships. Consequently, top 20s often question the validity of their beliefs. On the other hand, bottom 80s seldom question their beliefs and just assume that they are always true. False beliefs are like this. They prevent me from seeing clearly what's out there. I won't see the truth about what's there. Let's take an example that might help you understand this. Imagine that you had a teacher named Mr. Jones, and on your conviction scale, your belief that Mr. Jones hated you was a 10. That's like having this filter right in front of your face. What are some things that you might not see clearly or you might not even be aware of? Take a moment and discuss this as a group. Name, claim, and tame. The sooner we recognize a false belief and change it, the better off we are. How can we do that? Let's process called name, claim, and tame. Name. We name it by identifying it as a belief and not a fact. Claim. We claim it by taking ownership of the belief. If it is our belief, we are responsible for it and the impact it has on our life. Because it is ours, we can leave it as it is, or we can change it. We can make it stronger or weaker. Tame. We can tame the belief by easing up on our conviction. We tame it by seeing reality more clearly. We tame it by the truth. Let's go through the process. Take a moment in your group and come up with 3 or 4 beliefs that you think students or young people have that get in their way and block their potential. Write that belief on your handout, pause the video, and complete this task. Now that the belief has been named, it needs to be claimed. You need to own it and take responsibility for it and for the effect it has on your life. As I read this statement out loud, read it silently to yourself. I take ownership for this belief. I blame no one for having this belief. I'm responsible for it and the effect it has on my life. Let's use our Shakespeare in the Frame example from a previous lesson to demonstrate this. Do you see that if your conviction was very high that Shakespeare was difficult and a waste of time, that you would feel very stupid and bored in the class, probably wouldn't pay attention or ask questions, and you'd get a bad grade while having a bad experience in this class? Bottom 80s would say, see, it was a waste of time, and they'd stay stuck. But top 20s know how to get unstuck when they're in a bad situation. They know how to tame it. Ease up. Top 20s know that if this is close to their face, they won't see clearly, so they move it about a foot away from their face. Now they can see a bit over the filter, and on the sides, they can see things that they didn't see before. We call this easing up, the main way to take strong false belief. It reduces the intensity of your conviction by a few numbers. You continue to believe the same thing, just not as strongly. Let's go back to the Shakespeare example. If your original conviction was a 9, but you eased up to a 6 or 7, what would that be like? Instead of saying, it's too hard and a total waste of time, you would maybe say, it's a little tough and not my favorite class. What would you do differently? Would you be willing to try reading one act of the play and paying attention for the first 10 minutes of the class? If you did that, you might discover that Shakespeare is not a total waste of time. At that point, you might even ease up to a 4 and ask a question in class or watch the video of Macbeth. Before you know it, you might be trying out for the next school play. Remembering easing up isn't just saying you're going to ease up, it also requires doing something. Your handout has the same suggestions of ways you can actually ease up. Look at your handout as I go through them. Number 1, every time you have a strong belief, say to yourself, not now, or maybe, or state the opposite. Challenge your belief. Number 2, if you find yourself looking for evidence to prove your strong belief to be true, ease up by looking for evidence that your conviction may not be true. Number 3, identify a behavior that would be consistent with a lower level of conviction. If you think class is extremely boring, decide to stop seeking support for the false belief by complaining. Do homework every night. Give your teacher your full attention for the first 10 minutes of class. Let's apply ease up to the belief that you wrote on your handout. What would you be willing to ease up to? Write that number on your handout. What would you do differently now? Write that down. Take a moment to complete this task. Restart the video when you're done. Beliefs about beliefs. Let's finish by looking at some beliefs that top 20s and bottom 80s have about beliefs. As I read through these beliefs on your handout, put an X next to any of these beliefs that are yours. Top 20s know that beliefs are powerful, distinguish belief from facts, are willing to look at what they believe and assess whether the beliefs are true or false, are willing to ease up on their convictions, and open themselves to experiences that might change their beliefs. Bottom 80s are unaware of the power of beliefs, confuse beliefs with facts, are set in their beliefs and never consider changing their beliefs as a way of improving their lives, hang on to false beliefs, are unwilling to ease up on their convictions, and avoid experiences that might change their beliefs. Conclusion. What are your takeaways from today's class?